A man came in for a haircut. The barber used some kind of magical potion, and suddenly, the man shrank down into a tiny little person. But just then, another customer walked in, a woman with a face full of pimples. The barber quickly hid the tiny man in his pocket. The woman said, "Can you give me a quick face touch-up?" The barber smiled, "Of course," and placed slices of cucumber on her face. Then he pulled the tiny man out of his pocket and placed him on the woman's face, handing him a tiny grass-cutting tool. The poor guy had barely taken 2 steps when the machine got tangled in the hair and broke. The woman screamed in pain. The barber held her down again and gave the man a small sickle, saying, "Come on, finish the job fast." The man started cutting quickly, sweating all over, but the barber didn't let him stop. Then the barber handed him something like a broom to clean off all the hair. When he finally finished, he was exhausted, but the barber placed him on the woman's pimples next. The spot was so sticky and gross that he almost threw up. The barber gave him a tiny hammer and said, "Pop them one by one." The poor guy did as he was told, and by the time he was done, he was barely able to stand. Then the barber gave him a small mixer machine to fill the holes and smooth the skin. Somehow, he managed to do it all and sat on the woman's nose to catch his breath, when suddenly, she sneezed, and that's when she noticed the tiny man. The man panicked and begged, "Please let me go." The woman gave the barber a thumbs up to keep him calm. The barber smiled and said, "All right," and slipped the man back into his pocket. But the story didn't end there. The barber noticed her dry lips and said, "Let's give you some beautiful red lipstick now." As he picked out the color, the woman's eyes caught something inside a cabinet. 2 more tiny people screaming for help. "Save us! Free us from that magic potion!" But the barber didn't notice a thing. The woman chose the bright red shade. The barber once again placed the tiny man on her lips and handed him a bucket of paint. The man carefully painted her lips bright red. The woman was delighted, took out some cash and handed it to the barber. While the barber was busy counting the money, the woman secretly slipped the tiny man back into his pocket. And what the man did with the barber next, you'll have to see for yourself.